Shoujo Anime. Not a lot of people talk about shoujo anime and manga online, which is actually quite strange because there are a few series that are actually quite popular, for instance Sailor Moon. But besides that, it feels to me like no one really wants to give most shoujo series a shot and it ends up getting thrown in the back burner, which is sad. So today I'm going to explain to you guys the beauty of the shoujo genre and explain why you should appreciate it a lot more, as well as give you a few recommendations so you can start on your journey through this wonderful demographic of anime and manga. But before we begin, if you could leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome. I make new anime and manga content every week. I feel like the biggest hurdle to overcome with the shoujo genre is the misconceptions of the genre. Like how some people think that every story is some cringy romance story, or that there's just a lot of sparkly and pretty art that never gets too serious. So today I'm going to tell you that that is just far from true. There are plenty of shoujo series that don't solely focus on romance and actually have a lot of other points and themes to their stories, and saying otherwise is doing a disservice to the people who write these stories. And as for the sparkly and pretty art seen in most series, like Sailor Moon, there are actually plenty of series that take a different approach and make their art a little more serious to help the readers understand the sometimes darker emotions of their stories. When it comes to anime, most of these series don't replicate the original art style anyway, so you can still get into the series without any major problems. The shoujo genre to me is a very interesting genre, as just like with shonen, it has a wide variety of series that cover many different themes. That makes things a lot cooler because that means that there is most likely a series out there in the shoujo genre that can appeal to just about anyone, and that to me is something you should respect. If you're still hesitant that you can find a series in this genre, then just let me talk to you about a few series and hopefully you will check them out. And hey, you don't have to like them then. There are plenty of other series out there that you should just try and explore because you will definitely find at least one series that you will love in this genre. And with that being said, let's start talking about these series so you can start watching and exploring this amazing and vast genre of anime. Alright, so the first series I want to talk about is a pretty unique series that covers some pretty heavy topics, and that series is titled Natsume's Book of Friends. This series is a really amazing series that talks a lot about what it feels like to be an outcast and how that can affect you. But it also has a supernatural element to it, as the main story beat is about how yokai keep attacking Natsume because they think he is someone else. This series has some really good moments in it, and it really gets you to reflect on life as a whole, and it also lets you know that you're never alone in this world and that there's always someone who will care about you even if you don't think so, which is awesome. One of the best parts of the story that makes it really good is how much world building there is in this series. They explain who all the yokai are and why they can be potentially dangerous. They also give us a good explanation on who some of the organizations we see are, which really helps to expand our knowledge and gets us to want to keep watching more. This series gives off Mushishi vibes to me, as it is the same atmosphere around everything. This series can be pretty dark at times, just like Mushishi. The series itself isn't quite as dark though. This series is one that does almost everything right, and it makes the experience of this show that much better to witness. The character relationships really help to expand the story as well, because it allows the main character Natsume to grow as a person, and it really helps to show off the main theme of this story. The only problem with jumping into this series is that it is quite long, with about 6 seasons, 1 movie, and 1 OVA, all of which being canon. It can be quite hard to jump into, but this series is really good, and its length helps the series to expand upon so many things. This series can be quite serious and dark a lot of the time, but there is also a lot of comedy in this series that helps to give a more lighthearted tone to the otherwise really dark and dreary series. So if you're at all worried that this series might be too dark for you, then you don't have to worry, because there are plenty of lighthearted and wholesome moments in this series. This series does not feel like a shoujo series at all, and until recently I had no idea it even was one. So if you were scared to try and jump into the shoujo genre, then you should give this series a try because it could be just what you need. Alright, the next series I want to talk about is one of my favorite shoujo series, Yona of the Dawn. This series is extremely well written. There are so many different themes that this series explores, and all of them are executed really well. The world building in this series is extremely good, not the greatest in all of anime and manga, but it is really good. As we move through the series, we learn a lot about the people of these kingdoms, about interesting religions, and about how certain powers and abilities work. This series explores all of these things in a very interesting and compelling way, keeping you invested in the series the entire time you are reading it. The world building, although amazing, isn't to me the best part of the series, however. It's the characters. The characters in this series are extremely well written. Their relationships are awesome, their personalities are great, and best of all, they all get a massive amount of development as the series goes on. I want to use Yona as an example for what I mean. When we first meet her, she is a bumbling idiot who can't really take care of herself. She thinks that everything in the world is peaceful and that nothing can go wrong. She never imagined that she wouldn't be able to have something as long as she asked for it. Not to say she was arrogant, because she wasn't. She was just more ignorant of the outside world and was not ready to take up the throne that she was set to inherit. But as the series goes on, as she travels the world and starts to see how things really are, she sees that not everyone lives an easy and peaceful life. Not everyone has money or influence. She sees the people struggle as she goes through her own struggles, and as the series progresses, she grows and develops. If you look at her now versus what she was at the beginning of the story, they are like almost unrecognizable, because Yona is a completely different person than what she was at the beginning. She's strong and brave, and she now understands what it takes to rule a kingdom, and that to me is amazing. Yona the Dawn is a very special series that I think anyone, even if you're not a shoujo fan, can get into. This series is action-packed, it has romance, it has a vast and interesting world. This series has everything going for it. It is truly amazing, so if you're looking for a series that has everything you would see in a typical shonen series, then I highly recommend giving this series a go because you will absolutely not be disappointed. Shoujo anime and manga are some of the most underappreciated in the community. Almost no one talks about these series despite so many of them being amazing. In this video, I was hoping to have convinced some people to check out this genre of anime and to maybe see if there was anything else you might enjoy from it. There are so many other series that I never even brought up in this video that are amazing, so if you're interested at all, just do some exploring and I'm sure you'll find a series in the shoujo genre that you will absolutely enjoy.